What is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today again we're back on the SP404-MK2 and I wanted to do a video about the buses and the way that I've been using my buses recently on my beats, and I'm actually really happy with the setup that I currently have. Probably sharing too much information with you guys, giving you all the cheat codes for the SP404-MK2, but I thought I'd go ahead and do a video about this anyway. A couple of people have been asking about buses and how they work and how they're set up. Hopefully there's something in this for you guys to learn. Obviously it's completely up to you how you guys want to set these up. There's no rules with this. You should definitely experiment around and find your own jam. And in terms of the actual effects that I'm using, what I'll say about those as well is not every effect is going to work with every single beat, so definitely experiment. But the way that I've got this set up now with these particular effects, I think that's a really good way of setting up for a project, having like the same effects on each beat, because it gives you a kind of consistent sound. But yeah, definitely just don't cookie cutter what I do. It's probably not going to work for every single beat. It's working on these set of beats that I've been working on, but they could change in the future if I sort of go down a different sort of style or approach to making beats. So yeah, with all those things taken into consideration, let's just get into this one and start talking about the buses. So the first thing that I want to show you is the setup of how I have bus 1 and 2. So if you go to Shift and EFX set, which is 16, so Shift 16, you can see here I've got it on type A, and basically with bus 1, what I do is apply that to all the samples that I'm using, because I tend to use one of two effects on bus 1, which I'll talk about in a minute. Bus 2, now this is really cool because basically I leave bus 2 blank and use that for my performance effects. So I'll go into that a little bit more as well. And you can see the chain, you know, the signal chain runs from left to right here. There's an arrow. So once it's gone through those two buses, it then hits 3 and 4. And for 3 and 4, the way I've got this set up at the moment is pretty cool. I've got a compressor on 3, sustain 0, attack 0, ratio 1, level 100. And on bus 4, I've got 303 vinyl sim with even more compression on it. So it's got like a double compressor. And I've actually found that the combination of those two compressors is really beefing up my sounds. And that's perfect for the style of beats that I've been making at the moment, which are kind of boom bappy. And I'll show you some of those in a minute. So all in all, the way that I've got things set up, if I just forget about this screen and explain it, is all my sounds for the beat, all the sample chops and the drums, they have bus 1 applied to them. Bus 2 is free, so I can use that to jam along and do effects. And then 3 and 4 are kind of like my master buses, which are just, at the moment, they're 2 compressors. So on bus 1, usually I'll have either 404 vinyl sim, and I'll turn that noise off for now because it does get a bit annoying. I don't like to overdo it too much with this, but I think this gives things a really nice kind of lo-fi feel. So I do quite like wild flutter, but frequency-wise, I don't add too much of that because I don't want to actually destroy the sound of the beat. So with that off, this is what this beat sounds like, which I've been making recently. Let's go ahead and put it on. So I don't know if you can actually hear the difference there. There is definitely a difference. It just adds this kind of slight lo-fi feel to it, adds a slight wobble, playing with that frequency as well. That just adds a little bit of sauce, not too much, doesn't overdo it, nice subtle effect, I like that. So that's what I've been putting on pretty much all these beats which I've been making at the moment. I just really like the sound that gives it. And once I get these bounced onto, say, tape, I think these are going to sound really nice. So my other effect, which I'd most likely use on that bus, is the crusher. I really like crusher as well. You've probably heard me mention about this if you watch my videos. And again, it's a case of just dialing it in per beat. So maybe we could choose a different beat for this part. Okay, so you can hear there, it's kind of giving it that old sort of SP1200 sound, that kind of down-sampled little ring to it, which is really nice. I actually think Crusher is better at doing the job of this than the lo-fi setting on the Mark II. I just really like how much control you have over that. So it's either going to be one of those two effects basically. Again, like I mentioned, you know, it could be anything really, but they're just my two favorites. You could use isolator if you need to take some of the low end out. You could use filter like I've got here. I've got the super filter. You could just warm it up a bit by cutting back on the cutoff. So that's with that on, and then without it. It really is up to you. Experiment around with all the effects that you've got in the menus here. There's so many of them. But yeah, that's what I do with that bus. So for the second bus, bus 2, now that I've got that layered on, so I'll switch that back to 404 vinyl sim. Let's go back to this original beat I showed you. Basically, when I'm going to record out a beat, I'll probably do that live and kind of jam the patterns which I've got here, choose different patterns as I'm going along, or I could make a pattern chain if I wanted to. And then I can use bus 2 to add effects on the fly. So bus 1, we're going to have the 404 vinyl sim, and then on bus 2, sorry, I have to keep pressing this so you can still see the screen. I'm going to use bus 2 to just apply effects on the fly and kind of jam. So I'll make sure bus 2 is highlighted, and I'll start playing this beat. And now I could just throw in something like an isolator. Okay, so hopefully you get the idea from that on 1, we've got that 404 vinyl sim, that's going to be on everything, and then on 2, it just kind of gives me a bus to just play around and jam effects while I'm recording out a beat. So that's how I have those two buses set up. I think it's really, really nice. I think that's a great system, especially if you're doing live performance into, say, your phone for a social media post or something like that. It gives you that extra bus to add effects on the top. Now, another thing that I did want to mention is that obviously you could go ahead and resample chops before you use any of these buses. So if you wanted 404 vinyl sim on the chops and then you wanted something else as well, you could resample them all with 404 vinyl sim on, and then say you could use bus 1 for isolator, for example. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. So I'll take off 3 and 4 now, so that's with those muted, and I'll show you the sound of this beat. So you can hear it really doesn't have any energy at all. 3 and 4, those two compressors really do make a massive difference. So if I go and put those on now. To me, that's secret sauce stuff. I shouldn't be showing you this stuff really, but now you've been good to me recently, guys, with all the support, so you definitely deserve to have some of this secret sauce information. So that is pretty much it, I'd say. So I think this is one of the best setups that I have come up with for bus effects, and at the moment I'm using this every time on every single beat. Like I say, on bus 1, I might change those to add a different kind of flavour depending on the direction of the beat that I'm making, but that just applies to everything. And then bus 2 is free for jamming effects as I demonstrated, and then 3 and 4 I've got 2 compressors on. I just think it adds an absolutely amazing sort of warm, punchy sound to the mix, and I'm really, really happy with the way that's working for these particular beats. So I'm actually going to do a performance of all these beats which I've been making, because I've got so many in here now. I think I've got 5 beats in here, and I'm probably going to release this as an EP because I'm really, really happy with the sound that I've been getting. I know I say that quite a lot, but genuinely with these ones, I do actually want to release these ones. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope this was useful. I hope this gave you an idea of how buses can be used on your beats, and hopefully those of you that are new to it will get some inspiration to try out this layout or maybe come up with your own. Don't forget, if you're new around here, hit subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. It really does help me out. Until the next one, guys, keep making beats, and I'll be back with